Consultation process for the proposed revision to the Representation of the People's Act has already begun. Minister of Health is still urging citizens to get completely immunized. Several men detained amid marijuana bust near the Square of the Revolution. In the region, Haiti water shortage. We pray for rain every day. And internationally, China struggles to contain Delta variant of COVID. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The government of Guyana has invited the Guyana Elections Commission (GECOM) and members of the political opposition to participate in the public consultation on the proposed amendments to the Representation of the People's Act. The Representation of the People's Act is a law that provides for the elections of members of the National Assembly through a proportional representation system as well as other relevant topics. Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, Gail Teixeira, explained that the consultation process has already commenced. Representatives from GECOM, former President David Granger, and opposition leader Joseph Harmon are among the stakeholders the government is expecting to hear from. Minister Teixeira said her ministry has been tasked with executing and supervising the process. According to her, the consultation is expected to reach a vast section of the society, including members of the diaspora. Quote, "We will continue to post these up electronically, as well as communicating with political parties and stakeholders by emails and hard copies where possible. So that has already started." End of quote. The minister said the consultation will stretch over a 6-week period where stakeholders and the public would be able to make comments and give suggestions via email or posting on the ministry's social media page. One of the main purposes of the proposed amendments, Minister Teixeira reminded, is to avoid the reoccurrence of the events which followed the March 2020 general and regional elections. Minister Teixeira stated, the administration is expected to release 2 additional proposals relating to amendments to the laws governing the electoral process for consultation with members of civil society. Ranks of the Guyana Police Force earlier today intercepted a car in the vicinity of Ascension Road and Brick Dam and seized over 13 kilograms of cannabis sativa. Investigations revealed that the police, acting on investigation received, intercepted a motor car HC 1453 around 9 a.m. and conducted a search. They found 28 parcels wrapped with transparent plastic containing leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis in the back seat and the trunk of the car. The driver with 2 other occupants were in the said vehicle. The men were told of the offense committed and were cautioned, arrested, and escorted to the Breakdown police station along with the suspected cannabis and the motor vehicle. The suspected cannabis was weighed in their presence. It amounted to 13 kilograms, 680 grams. The suspects are presently in custody assisting with the investigations. The local government commission has terminated 7 employees of Georgetown's Mayor and City Council for serious misconduct. All of the ex-employees were assigned to the city treasurer. They were fired as a result of the mayor and city councillors of the city of Georgetown alerting the local government commission of the alleged financial irregularities in the city's treasury department. The 7 persons were then placed on administrative leave to allow for a thorough investigation into the alleged fraudulent act. The investigator concluded that the 7 persons were direct participants in the fraudulent financial activity and had violated their fiduciary duties to the mayor and city councillors of the city of Georgetown. However, Mayor of Georgetown Pandit Ubrajan Ryan found fault with the local government commission's decision to terminate the 7 employees, claiming that they had already been reprimanded for their gross misconduct. Nevertheless, interim city treasurer John Douglas was reinstated as accounting manager and Edwina Miller was appointed to serve as city treasurer in an acting capacity. Their termination becomes effective on November 2nd, 2021. Stick around after the break. Minister of Health is still urging citizens to get completely immunized, and First Lady launches the Orientation on Mobility program for the visually impaired and blind.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
For decades, milk has remained the same. Until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Welcome back. While speaking at today's COVID-19 update, Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, urged persons to get vaccinated. He said there are several vaccines available to the public.
Vaccines are available, and therefore people should really go and get the vaccine and protect. Right now we have AstraZeneca, but we're using the AstraZeneca now to give those who would have received their first dose to get their second dose. We also have Sinopharm, so we're doing both first and second dose with the Sinopharm vaccine. We have Pfizer, so people can get Pfizer first and second dose. We also have Sputnik V. Now we are giving the second dose because there are lots of people who would have received the first dose and need the second dose. And we also have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is a single dose.
According to Dr. Anthony, the ministry is recording an increase in the number of persons coming forward to get vaccinated.
By and large, people are coming forward to get vaccinated. I've seen now the preference is to get Pfizer or Sinopharm. And those who would have received their first dose AstraZeneca, they're coming to get their second dose. And we still have a lot of people with the first dose Sputnik. And we see them also coming to get their second dose Sputnik. So I think by and large, people are trying to get themselves in order to be fully vaccinated, which is a positive thing.
Minister Anthony stated that while this is a positive move, more people need to come forward to take the vaccine.
We want to see more people coming forward and do this quickly rather than have a delayed response as we are seeing right now.
He noted that the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus is still in circulation and added that the majority of persons being hospitalized are those that are unvaccinated.
The variant that continues to circulate is Delta, but I think because of our levels of vaccination, especially in Region 4, which has now one of the highest levels of vaccination, that we would have seen the cases being reduced. And we would have also seen, because if you have less cases, you would have less hospitalization and less deaths. Unfortunately, the people who are coming into the hospital now are predominantly people who are unvaccinated.
Additionally, the health minister added that there has been a decrease in the number of positive cases, However, some regions remain a source of concern.
We're seeing that decline in cases, but that does not mean that we have to be complacent. We're still not out of the woods, as they say, and we still have a lot of cases. 2,641 is still a lot of cases. When we look at the regional distribution of these cases, we now see that Region 3 is the area that has the highest amount of cases. So we now have 1,100 cases in Region 3. And there's been that drop in Region 4, so we are below 1,000 in Region 4. We are now at 934 cases in Region 4. We are seeing an increase in Region 10. So we now have about 175 cases in Region 10. And we also have 197 cases in Region 6.
To date, the total number of the adult population that received the first dose of the vaccine is 75.5% and 49.8% received both shots. In the 12 to 17 age group, 38.5% got the first jab and 26.2% are fully inoculated. On Tuesday, the Orientation and Mobility Program for the Visually Impaired and the Blind was launched at the State House. This program is geared at training 500 blind and visually impaired persons to acquire the skill to live independently. The First Lady of Ghana, Aria Ali, while giving the key address, stated that society needs to be reorganized so that persons living with visual disabilities do not miss out on economic opportunities. The First Lady said this initiative is a vital step towards creating a One Guyana. It aims to enhance the independence of blind and visually impaired people so they can be culturally accepted and equally included in society. Meanwhile, the program coordinator attached to the Ghana Council of Organizations for Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Ganesh Singh, said the program will enable blind and visually impaired persons to be independent and be reintegrated into society.
Without orientation and mobility, persons who are blind and visually impaired would be lost. Many of them would just be sitting at home and depend on people to assist them to do simple things that they can do on their own. Through this program, we aim within the next year to train and provide orientation and mobility services to approximately 500 persons.
Singh said the program will train persons from 7 regions across the country. He noted that 10 persons will gain direct employment through the program. The persons will be certified as orientation and mobility officers by the Board of Industrial Training and will use the certificate and skills gained for future employment. Participants of the program expressed their appreciation and excitement as they explore this new opportunity.
It's a great initiative because persons like myself will be benefiting tremendously from it. I can say that in time past, I didn't really have the opportunity that other persons will have. So I feel really good about it. Yeah.
I feel particularly excited, elated, happy, optimistic about the future of those young persons who are blind and visually impaired across the length and breadth of Guyana. For too many years, for too long, we've heard stories and had to deal with stories of blind and visually impaired persons staying at home, kept at home, left with no other option but to remain at home because they did not get a chance, the opportunity to acquire mobility and orientation skills.
I think it's very innovative for all the people who put this together and thinking about persons with persons with disability, and I think it's a benefit for a lot of people, especially those who are visually impaired and blind, to develop independent living skills. Not only that, but lessen the burden, as Mrs. Singh would have mentioned.
The Orientation and Mobility Program is a collaborative effort between the Guyana Council of Organization for Persons with Disabilities, ExxonMobil Guyana, and the Office of the First Lady to combat the issues affecting this group of people. Don't go away after the break. Greece, transit point for migrants and refugees from Cuba. And Philippines, COVID curbs push unemployment rate to 8.9 in September. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Beccaphonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Rose Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop Price Smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Kingdom-based taxi service, transportation for every occasion. Short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call Kingdom-based taxi service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. A fuel shortage brought about by gangs blocking the access roads to distribution terminals is throwing Haiti into further chaos. Residents of the capital Port-au-Prince says they cannot get hold of drinking water as water pumps have stopped running due to the lack of petrol. Deliveries of bottled waters have also been disrupted, meaning that many residents have to rely on rainwater. Haitian gangs have long extorted delivery drivers, but the situation has escalated since the assassination by mercenaries of President Jovenel Moïse in July. In the power vacuum following the president's killing, gang leaders have become more brazen and stepped up their criminal activities, which includes kidnappings for ransom and extortion. Meanwhile, Greece is the first European port of call for many asylum seekers from Africa and Asia, but now there is a new contingent making the journey all the way from Cuba. Al Jazeera's John Sarapoulos reports.
Pedro and Laura have been traveling since May, when they sold their business and left their native Cuba. The pandemic, combined with US sanctions, has caused unprecedented food shortages and hardship at home. Last summer, the communist regime in Havana faced its biggest protests in decades, leading to a harsh crackdown.
Las personas que trabajan en el campo.
The government talks about the external embargo a great deal, but there's an even worse internal one. The government seizes agricultural production and distributes food as it deems fit. You cannot vote for the president. There are only certain types of businesses you can be licensed to do. There's no democracy. There are people who disappear, who've been killed.
To get to Greece, Laura and Pedro flew to Moscow, where Cubans can travel without a visa. From there, they flew to Belgrade, also visa-free, then walked most of the way through Serbia and North Macedonia into Greece. Their goal was to reach Spain or Italy. They ended up on the Greek island of Zakynthos, where they planned to catch a flight to Milan in northern Italy. But about 130 other Cubans had the same idea on the same day. This is what happened when police tried to arrest them.
It seems that this flight was oversold, and when the police saw one Cuban passport after another, they put us all into separate rooms. They kept us there for 8 hours and told us they were going to take us to a hotel. Instead, they took people to the police station. There were women and children there.
Pedro and Laura have now joined the thousands of refugees who live legally or illegally in Athens. Unlike African and Asian nationals who've sought asylum here for years, Cubans in the Balkans are a completely new phenomenon. Greece is an attractive way station for asylum seekers who want to travel deeper into Europe. It has 1,000 kilometers of mountainous land border which are difficult to police. And it's a member of the Schengen area, which means that once here, it's relatively easy for someone to travel to 25 other European countries without border controls. Cubans' first port of call would normally be the United States. Charles Cook is an immigration lawyer in the US and explains what's happening.
The system was broken by the Trump administration, and so far the Biden administration, its 10 months in office, has not really made a lot of effort to fix that because of COVID. So all these factors are coming into play here that are driving people to other places. And Greece is the other place right now.
Hundreds of Cubans are now in Greece, and they're waiting to find out whether authorities will take up their asylum applications or encourage them to keep walking. John Psaropoulos, Al Jazeera, Athens.
Internationally, the coronavirus pandemic has made it difficult to find jobs for many people across the Philippines, and they are increasingly looking for opportunities abroad. The Philippines imposed one of the world's longest lockdowns when the pandemic broke out, which led to one of the country's worst economic recessions in decades. Al Jazeera's Jamelia Amadugan reports.
Hello, good morning.
Matt Bunyi is taking a call from a prospective employer at a shipping company.
Go ahead. Yes, Chief Bunyi, sir. I've been interviewed one company, and then after that, then another company came to me. That's today I came there, the company which is I applied. This is the first time I have been standby with the 9 months.
Matt says he sends his resume to at least 20 companies each week, but he hasn't found any work.
The story of Matt Bunyi is a story that is repeated 1,000 times over. People here tell us there are more and more job applicants here desperate to find a job overseas. They tell us their situation has been worsened by the coronavirus pandemic.
Keith Blancaflor and Darwin Evangelista work for agencies that recruit seafarers, and they keep a waiting list. They say with so few jobs around, it's getting longer. The Philippines imposed one of the world's longest lockdowns when the pandemic broke out. But it led to one of the country's worst economic recessions in decades. Unemployment is now at 8.9%, its highest so far this year. Thousands of small and medium businesses have also shut down, and communities dependent on tourism are facing the greatest difficulties.
Mas marami talagang negosyo magbubukas, no?
There will be an easing of restrictions. And with that, we hope that means an upstart on our economy again. We understand people are not going to agree to be locked down again. So with this reopening, we hope it will be a better Christmas for everyone.
But some analysts say it's not that simple.
Without putting more money in purchasing power in poor families, without more support for micro, small, and medium enterprises, I think it will be a long, slow recovery, at least until the end of next year. That will be early, perhaps even until 2023.
Many Filipinos say they've always faced hardship, but the pandemic, coupled with the lack of government assistance, is making it worse.
Jamela Lindogan, Al Jazeera, Manila.
And finally, China's zero COVID-19 policy is showing strains as health authorities struggle to contain the growing spread of the Delta variant. At least 1,000 locally transmitted infections have been reported since mid-October in 20 provinces, prompting strict quarantine periods and area-specific lockdowns. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
A Chinese city on the border with Russia is turning to unconventional means to control COVID-19. It's offering a reward of $15,000 to anyone who can help trace the origin of the latest outbreak. Heihe city officials have declared a so-called people's war against the virus, as cases around the country continue to climb. More than 1,000 infections have been reported since late October. The resurgence has spread to 21 provinces so far, and has been accompanied by unseasonably cold weather in the country's north, conditions which have helped the virus to thrive.
We still face a complex and stern epidemic prevention and control situation this winter and the next spring. China will continue to adhere to strict epidemic prevention and control measures.
Some authorities have expanded the definition of close contacts, using mobile phone data to track people's location and activities.
Officials here call it space-time overlap, which sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's very simple. If you spend just 10 minutes within a certain radius of a known COVID-19 case, your mobile phone will alert authorities, which means a person can be quarantined even though they haven't come into actual physical contact with an infected person.
Nearly 77% of China's population is fully vaccinated. But while Singapore, Australia and New Zealand have opted to live with the virus, Beijing is sticking to its zero-tolerance strategy. The policy was criticized by virologist Guan Yi on Hong Kong television this week.
All local governments are maintaining this zero-tolerance policy. If we continue to do this, I'm sure our country's economy will one day collapse.
He also raised questions about Chinese vaccines, which have lower protection rates than other vaccines. The Chinese government has dismissed concerns, saying its strategy has kept the virus death toll low. For now, targeted lockdowns and long quarantine periods are commonplace, and the lives and travel plans of millions will continue to be upended at short notice. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Thursday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.